Welcome back everybody, Holiday Doc here, and just as promised, we have the Anaheim recap. And I wanted to do this because there was a lot of misconceptions about teams, why they didn't place where they should have, or I don't even want to say place where they should have, because when you get to LANs, it is such a different environment. But before we get to all of that, let's go ahead and thank Leverage for, specifically Aches, for hooking me up with this great gameplay. I tweeted out I need some competitive stuff, some good entertainment, and Quantic Leverage, Mr. Aches himself, came through, hooked me up with this great video, Next Threat versus Leverage. So enjoy the footage while I talk about my kind of theories on everything, and some of the teams in part. I think we're gonna have to do this in a couple part series, but let's go ahead. Let's break down Leverage. Why did Leverage come out on top this time? I think that they were so determined to revamp their strategies and their whole playstyle and mentalities off of their last, from their terms, a failed event. They still placed extremely well in Columbus, but they didn't. And talking to everybody and just listening to what they have to say is, if Leverage isn't winning, they're not happy. They only want first. They don't want second. They don't want third. They don't want fourth. They want first. And I think that Columbus really opened up their eyes and to really see that people were gunning for them. People wanted to knock Leverage out. They won Dallas. We got to knock them out. And that's where Optic Gaming came in. Optic Gaming came in and crushed people in Columbus. They did fantastic. But then look at their showing here or at Anaheim. They didn't do nearly as well as they had expected. They placed third. So I think we're seeing a very reversed role or reverse scenario where Optic won the last event. Came in a little overconfident, a little over achieved in what they've already successfully gotten. They're happy. Didn't expect the competition to be on their level. I think that's why they placed third. And I think come rally, people get mad because I call it rally, I don't even know how to say it. The next event. I think come the next event, I think it's going to be a heavy toss-up between Optic and Leverage. Now people are going to jump on me right away saying, what about Fear? What about Fear? What about Fear? Well, Fear is a great team. They've come out of nowhere, but they're unpredictable. Nobody could predict that they would have come in the last event and placed second. Nobody would have. They took Assassin took his team, basically built it from the ground up, went to Anaheim, took second place. Nobody expected that. I didn't expect it. Nobody I talked to in the pro teams expected it. It was just mind blowing. Assassin is by far one of the top 3 players in this series altogether. And we've got Proofy, who is definitely up there as far as clutch players. And then we got Rambo, who all these 3 players from these 3 different teams are so diverse and absolutely wonderful to watch play. Breaking down their exact whys or why nots at these events is really crazy. Leverage won 24 games and they only lost 11. Now, they won 7 of the matches, they lost 1 match. It's really good. Team Fear played 20 matches, won 20, lost 9. Won 6 overall matches, lost 1. Leverage played, more games. When we go down into Optic Gaming, they went 21 for 10. They went 6-2. So all these teams are very close between each other. One little mishap here can send you down to the losers bracket, change up your whole mentality and everything like that. What Leverage did in the finals was amazing. If you didn't catch the Anaheim finals, you need to go VOD it and just watch how Team Fear, essentially screwed up a 4-0 lead. You know, it was a best of 11. They had 4 wins. Leverage came back 6 straight games. That is the championship mentality that you have to continuously win these events. First time back, 2-time champion. You know, Quantic Leverage. What is? I keep getting off track, but there's just so many things to talk about with these teams. You know, what makes Team Leverage that go-to team right now? You know, why did I think before this event that Optic was that go-to team right there? And it all comes down to how that team performs at the very last game in the very last match of the events. And, you know, we watched Optic obliterate Team Force in Columbus, like demolish. So I took that as a sign, like, wow, you know, Optic is one step ahead of the second place team. So to me, essentially, that should have translated to, well, they should be at least, you know, half a leg up on most of these teams here at Anaheim. That didn't translate to that. You know, they didn't perform at that championship pace, that championship level. Are they out of it? Hell no. You know, Optic is learning. You know, they're an established team. I expect that it's going to be really close. And to be quite honest, you know, storyboard-wise and storyline-wise, it would be fantastic to have Optic and Leverage kind of bounce back and forth for the title. You know, that creates the drama, that creates the rivalries, that creates the elements to a successful entertainment show that MLG loves and wants to have. You know, that we don't have yet. So it's amazing. You know, I really want to see it, but then we got to throw in Team Fear. So Team Fear, as far as I know, roster is still the same. They didn't bring Moho back on board. And this shocked a lot of people. You know, out of respect for the Team Fear name and clan idea, essentially Moho should have been able just to jump back on board, but I am not sure of the inner workings of that whole scenario. They weren't able to do that. You know, I think Assassin, you know, placed second place at Anaheim with that team. I think he was confident in keeping it and wanted to keep the structure and the roster the same. So you can't blame him. You know, it definitely left Moho a little high and dry. You know, he couldn't go to Anaheim due to a unexpected family member's death. So you have to respect that. He didn't, you know, cop out and say, hey, I'm just not going, yada, yada, yada. But now it's kind of Moho's turn to kind of create a team and see if he can place it, you know, top 4, top 5. And I think it's going to be really difficult. You know, there's just, these teams are really starting to mold and form. You know, we're seeing Call of Duty evolve into the game that we want to see. And it's taken a couple of events, and it always does, but this is a game of slow progression. So, what to expect at the next event here? Rally. I gotta put a little rasp in my voice to say it. I don't know. I'm white. I'm Canadian. We don't have funny looking words like that up here. Who's the team to watch out for? Couldn't tell you. I could not begin to tell you. What do I have planned though? Is to jump on board with these boys. You know, get into some scrims, watch how they play, watch how they communicate, and see if this is the same team we saw at Anaheim, or are we gonna see something new? Are we gonna see some people choke? And I guess that kind of brings me to Force. You know, what happened to Force? You know, they placed second last event, and I believe they went 1-11, or what is it? Team Force. Yeah, Force won 3, lost 5. So they did terrible. They didn't come prepared whatsoever. And you know, you can't just call it a fluke win, because they did win second. It's really hard to play against these top end players and fluke out a win to second place. Like every other team there would have to, like, I don't know, put down their controllers to be a complete fluke. You know, they did their work. They were on top of their game when they needed to be. So, you know, congratulations to all the teams at Anaheim. If you want to hear some more in-depth, maybe we'll go team for team, you know, let me know. And talk to you later. I'm Holiday Doc. Come out here.